You've just got to embrace it. You've got to fucking, that saying, which I don't really like saying, but it's true, you've got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've just got to accept. It's like anything. Firstly, just acknowledge where you are and what you've got. You can't change it. Well, you can change it, you've got to do something about it. So accept it. Hard or fucking good as it is, you are where you are. Now what can I do about it? And you've got to do something about it. Life's a runway. As a kid, you know, you stood at the end of this runway and it goes on forever. You know, and then before you know it, you're in your 30s and you're kind of a quarter of the way down the runway and you're thinking about, I need some money, I need a house, I need this. And then get into your 40s, 50s and you realise, fucking hell, I'm almost at the end of the runway, I'm going to take off. And I would say, if I could take a step back now and change, I would change that. Don't do the stupid things of, you know, proving yourself to be this tough guy. Stay away from that. Spend time with your brothers, your sisters, people who really mean something to you, not the guy who's the hard guy in the street who actually don't care about anybody but himself anyway. For young kids listening to this, we'll take one thing away. Time is the most important thing, not who you think you are, how much money you got, what materials you are, what your reputation is. Time is everything, and spend it with the right people and doing the right thing. It's necessary to fail, because failing builds resilience. You know, if you, one of these people, imagine if somebody who never gets anything wrong, you never really tested, you never really grow, you never really improve. That's what you think you are, that's maybe what you are. I think it's important to go through hard times to realise the value of what is important to you, the simple things in life that are important to you. And you know, it's important to, again, to fail, to be knocked back, to show your real character of how you respond to that, how you get up and go forward again. You know, so it is, yeah. And I think that's what helped me and the people like me who had my sort of background, going through those hardships, helped us in the next phase of our life to be one step ahead of a lot of people, because you've got all that experience of having hardships. I'm one of these people who, I don't take anything for granted. Like, if I'm boxing a certain opponent, I know I can beat him, but I never say that to myself. I always take it as, this is my first fight and this kid is probably as good as me. So I'm always very humble about how I think about what I'm going to. Even if I've done it 1,000 times and never failed it, I'll always think this could be the one I fail. So I always have this sort of personal risk mitigation in everything that I do through my mind. I always think about it. I always think, be aware I could get this wrong, and it keeps me sharp and on my toes. But be aware, you know, I'm not afraid of it. I'm going to give it a go no matter what. You know, I also have that drive. I'm not scared to be knocked down. I'm not scared to be knocked back. I'm still going to go at it. And I'm going to try and reach that goal, whatever that goal may be. I just say to myself, and I just believe in it. I've always got that part of my mind where I think, if I fail it, it's not the end of the world. You know, it ain't what I wanted, but so what? I'm going to go again. And as long as I've got that, I'm not afraid to, I'm not worrying about failing. All I'm thinking about is winning. And that generally is enough to get me to the place I really want to be. You know, I remember looking at all these people, 283 people on selection, looking at them all going, fucking hell, they all look bigger, they all, okay, let me keep that in the back of my mind. Maybe I'm not, but I ain't going to give up. I'm going to give it my best shot. And as people fall by the wayside, I've kind of grew strength out of their failure, their weakness, to make me feel better, but keeping it humble, you know, keeping humility and going, okay, I could still fall at the next hurdle and just go again and again. And I always think about that, you know, no matter if you've done it 100 times, it's not a done deal. You've still got to do it all again, and always treat it as the first time, and with respect, and, you know, never underestimate your opponent, never underestimate what is in front of you. No matter if you've done it 1,000, million times. Treat everyone as a new challenge and give it everything you've got. And I do that all the time. As soon as I'm awake, normally about 5:30, out of bed, don't wash, I get straight into my gym kit and I go. No water, no music, because I believe it creates distractions and I like to focus on what I'm doing. And every time I go out, I set myself sort of a distance, boundaries, and every time I do it, I break them.
So I always say to myself, always a little further, and that's what I'll do every single, an extra kilometre, extra set of burpees, extra set of whatever. That's what I'll do. And I do that. And also, I'm at that stage in my life now where I train every day, but it works for me. People ask me, what time do you do this? I don't go out trying to break timings and chasing stuff. I don't. I do enough to push me. And I always say to myself, always a little further in my head, and that's what I'll do. So I know at the end of the day, I've done something, little or as long as it is, and as hard as it is or not hard. Some days I'll just go, getting started is difficult, but once I'm started, I don't want to finish. You know, and I have to finish because I've got to be at work or whatever I'm doing. So, but it's religious. I do it every morning, literally every morning. You know, results, not excuses, is what I say. You won't get results by just thinking about it and talking about it. You get it by doing it. And it doesn't matter. First thing you have to accept is, one, it probably ain't going to be comfortable. But two, it's definitely going to be worth it. So just get out and do it. And there's many mornings I get up, I don't want to do it. But once I get started, I'm off. And then the hardest thing for me after that is stopping. And I'll only stop because I know, obviously, I've got a day's work ahead of me. I've got to get other things done. But it really is. It's a foundation to my day, my life. It just really sets me in the right tone, right mind. And yeah, I do. I recommend it for every single person, old, young, no matter what shape or condition you're in. If it means getting up and walking around the kitchen 3 times because of your health reasons, you've done something. And in your mind, you know you've done it. And your mind then says to you, yeah, you've earned the chance to go and sit down and have a cupcake or whatever you're going to do.
Quitting is death. That's it. That's quitting. Death. Done. That wasn't your choice. That's God's way of telling you failed. That ain't happening. Not today, Satan. It is. It's true. When you want to improve and grow and build resilience, you've got to go. That pain comes with it. That pain is the foundation, the mortar to becoming a better person and achieving better things. If it's easy, it ain't worth it. It's not a challenge, is it? It's not worth it. Mate, when I finished, the last thing you do on the hills phase of selection is endurance. It's called endurance. It's about 60k, 60 miles, wherever it is, and you're carrying a fucking house on your back. And before I even started it, my knee was out here. I thought, I ain't gonna be able to do this. And I could quite easily have gone, I ain't gonna do it, because the damage I might do at the end of it, could fuck me up forever. But I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to do it, and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna take that pain. I'm not gonna make that an excuse not to do this. And then by the time I finished it, my knee was almost the size of my waist. I literally, and I did it in fast. I did it in a fast time because it was hurting so much. And I knew the quicker I do it, the quicker this pain's gonna stop. So the pain hurt me more and I went faster. My mind says, I want it. And I wanted it. I wanted it in my heart to say to myself, I'm gonna finish this. Always, it's my mantra every single day, mate. You know, whether that's you going for a run and you don't feel like you want to run, just go for it, just do it. And you can do it. And that always a little further, it helps me. If I'm going to use the running sort of scenario, I'll get up in the morning. I don't have a plan of how far I'm going to run and where I'm going to run, as you probably know. But I'll go out there and I feel I can't justify having done anything until I feel a little bit tired, a little bit worn out. So I'll say, right, okay, I'm going to run 3 miles. I can see the 3 mile turnaround and I go, all right, I'm going to go 4 miles. I'll go another mile. Then before I know it, I've ran out 6 miles and I've got another 6 miles to run back. So that little further, it's always there subconsciously pushing me anyway. But in everyday life, it's just about giving 100%. Just always do your fucking best and try and go that little bit further, like, you know. 1 more inch, one more inch, 1 more foot, 2 more steps. It's still a little bit further. Just don't give up. Just keep going. I'll tell you what, because your mind will take you to places where your body don't want to go. You can get to a finish line with a broken leg, in pain. You'll get there as long as your mind says, I'm going to get there. You know, when you say you're going to do something, do it. Do it. And when your mind says, you know, you've said this one, I'm going to do 10 miles, then when you've got an option to give up, it's a weak option when you give up. You can take that giving up option out of the equation, and the option is, I have to finish this. I have to get to that point. Whether your fucking feet are blistered, your back is hurting, your shoulder feels like one's snapped and the other one's all right, so what? So what? When you get to that finish point, that's when you can address that problem. Let that pain actually drive you on. Think about that pain and don't think about the distance. And then before you know it, you're at the end of the distance. So the mind will take you, it'll take a broken body to a point where, you know, you probably didn't want to go, but you can get there. I'm telling you, it's gonna, well, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to go on. I know you don't want to, but you are going to go on. Your mind says you are going to go on. You're going to get there. It is not the end of the world.
Thank you for watching today's documentary. It was sponsored by Huel, a quick, affordable, nutritionally complete source of food that has everything that your body needs. The Mulligan brothers have been using it for the past few years. As we travel around the world to make these documentaries, we use these to make sure that we get enough nutrients, protein, and source of energy whilst we host the show and make the documentaries. So if you want to find out more, head to the link in the description to find more of their products. Thank you, Huel, for sponsoring the documentaries.